K-Rock, Mid-Atlantic Rock Review's MARR Army Rock Show, and I am here with Andrea from Lacuna Coil. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for having me.
So we were talking before we started the interview. I'm excited to talk to you. I've had the pleasure of seeing you at Rockwell on the Range. I've had the pleasure of seeing you on Shiprock. But hey, the big thing is Delirium came out yesterday or today, I think it was.
27th.
Yesterday.
So yesterday, yeah.
So, in my opinion, my humble opinion, after 20 years, this may be your guys' best release. I really believe that. So, tell folks a little bit about what you're proud about this record.
Yeah, it's kind of we say on the interviews that it's a new book of Lacuna Coil. You know, not only because we have a different lineup this time around. It's me, Marco, and Christina from the traditional lineup, and then we had Ryan, the new drummer, Ryan Folden, which is actually working with us since almost 8-9 years now. But he was our drum tech in the beginning, and then when Cristiano, our older drummer, started to take some time off the road because he had a baby girl, he was deciding to move in the countries and then change his life. Ryan was already with us, so he's been playing with us at least 5-6 years and been working with us 7-8 years. So it's relatively new, let's say. But it's actually the first time he record for us on the record, and it's the first time he's officially a member of the band. Has been helping us also with the lyrics of the album, with arrangements on the drums. So he's been a full-time member. And then also this album we've been recording it in 4, so without a proper guitar player, let's say, but Mark, our bass player, that is the main songwriter for the band, stepped up and also recorded all the guitars and the keyboards, and so bass, guitar, and keyboards. And we had some guests for the lead guitars on the record, some friends from Italy, some international musicians, and so it's been everything new, everything different. We've been self-producing the record for the first time. Always Marco doing the production because he's been always the inner producer of the band. So he has always been working side to side to people like Don Gilmore or Jay Baumgart and all the producers we worked with. So he's been learning a lot. So this time around we felt it was the right time to let him try, and he did a great job. You know, he's been able to separate the roles of musician / friend to the producer kind of roles, you know, and let all the deadlines happen at the right time.
So my favorite song so far, listening to it, is the tune "Broken Thing." So can you tell me a little bit about that tune?
Yeah, it's the second track of the record, and we've wrote it. The lyrics are talking about the fact that very often when you break a relationship, it's very hard to go back. You know, sometimes it happens that you do certain things that no matter what, it will take forever to fix. You know, or maybe you will never be able to fix. So it talks about that kind of sensation that you get lost in what you've done, and you can't really go back, no matter how hard you try, no matter. It's very easy to destroy a relationship with one bad thing, you know, while it's so hard to build it with like hundreds of good things, you know. So that's what more or less what it talks about, and it's a song which has quite a catchy chorus and quite a powerful start with some extreme vocals in the beginning, and then going to more towards a melodic part in the verse and in the final parts.
And all those descriptions, I guess, are what drew me to it. Is probably my favorite tune on the record. So we were talking about you guys on the way up here about how I just saw you guys posted you had like the #1 iTunes spot in Chile, and yet I can't tell, because you are truly an international band. I mean, you guys play all over the place. So what country are you the most popular in?
I think the United States has always been a good market for us, but it's such a big market also. You know, there's nothing quite comparable to the United States in terms of how big it is, how much you have a common taste, let's say, across America. You know, whatever it's popular in one state more or less could be popular in the other states. While in Europe, for example, you might be very famous in the UK, but nobody would know you in Italy or in France or in Spain. So every nation is a different market. So it's harder to have the same level of popularity. I've seen bands like very big bands like Disturbed or Seven Dust or playing an arena in one nation and a club in another one, you know, a Volbeat, a lot of bands, you know, so it's also hard for that. But we're doing really well in the UK, in Italy, of course, France, Holland, Belgium.
Which ones are the most intense? Like, which fans are like the most diehard?
Usually South America.
South America.
South America, they like Brazil, Argentina, Chile. They would sing every word of the songs from the first word to the, not just the chorus, but all of the songs. Sometimes louder than we. can't sing. So sometimes we couldn't hear our voices because they were so loud that we couldn't, even with the mics, the in-ears, we couldn't really understand what we were singing. But so that, yeah, South America is very passionate. We just been before we started this tour, we've been to Asia. We played China for the first time and the Philippines, festivals in both places. And Philippines was also very crazy. And we played in a stadium with like 25,000 people. We had fireworks, explosions, smoke, all kind of effects. So it's been pretty crazy. And also China's been really good, really fun to play.
So you guys put 14 songs on the new record, and a lot of bands won't do that these days. You know, they'll pare it down to 8 or 9. Talk about that decision.
I mean, we have 11 on the basic, very basic. If you buy the jewel case, it's going to be 11 songs. But then all the other version has 14. So we have the 3 songs that were kind of extra, but we had to decide which ones to be taken out, even if I don't think it makes so much sense anymore, because people is gonna have them anyway, you know, either through the internet or some other ways. You know, there's no way they're gonna not listen to the songs, so it's kind of pointless. But we had all those. We actually had a little more, but we couldn't finish the vocals for some others, so we had to leave them. We recorded, I think, another 2 songs with the music instrumentally, but we haven't got time to then finish all the vocals, the lyrics, so we put them on the side. And it's hard to decide, you know, because it's all your babies, and we usually try to take off the songs that are too similar to what we have already done in the past, you know, so are a little less interesting for us to put in the new release. But in general, we're kind of proud of everything we put out.
Now, the way you write your songs, having 2 vocalists, which is not every band doesn't do that. Do you know in advance that this song, like, do you write parts for both, or do you just write the song and then figure out who's going to do what?
No, usually Marco come up with the music, so he's gonna pass us some demos with like electronic drums, just a basic version of the songs, and then me and Christina, we work separately. We developed our own ideas, and then we meet together in Marco's basement, which is a little home studio. And we work together and we see which idea is really striking, is really working for the part, and then exchange. And sometimes I end up singing parts that Christina worked in the beginning, or the other way around, depending if we need a more powerful part or a more epic part, or if the key is too high for me or too high for her. So we see, depending on that, we decide. So, but we throw away a lot of material, like we have a lot more than what can actually end up in the record. But that's the way we like to do it. Sometimes Marco would come out and say, none of you had the right idea for me, so he proposed something else. And sometimes it's hard because you're very proud of what you've done and you think it's the best idea, but then we are mature enough to understand that sometimes it's better to rework and just unbuild the part and build something else out of it. Sometimes from one song, then you end up having 2. You know, because you really like 2 different choruses, so you say, okay, we take this chorus and play some different chords and make it happen on another song. You know, so it's very democratic. We've really learned how to balance it. You know.
Hey, you did something cool on this record too. You're offering actually a cassette and some clear vinyl. So a lot of bands will put out a cassette. Tell us about that.
I was surprised when they proposed us to do the cassette, but it seems it's coming back, especially in places like the UK. It's really strong, and obviously it's more of a gadget than it is of a real musical support. You know, it's like I like to have it. Just I don't even have a tape player anymore, so I just put it there in the collection just as a cool item. But vinyls are really getting popular, and we're almost selling, I don't want to say 50-50, but almost, you know, we're towards the like 30, 70 or 40, 60%. You know?
That's surprising.
So vinyl are really great, and we have, I think, 5 different colors depending on, like in Europe there are 2 or 3 colors, 2, 3 in the States, but then there's the classic black one. So we have a lot of different ones because people like to collect them and to listen. But I've seen a lot of people actually playing the vinyls, you know, opposed to the cassettes. So I think everything nowadays, you have to do everything people want in order to convince them to buy a physical support, which is not just the iTunes or the illegal download or the Spotify or the Apple Music. You know, there's so many ways to get music that it's really hard to control anymore.
Now I'm going to share 2 of my favorite memories of your band and just ask you to react to those festivals. The first one was I was front row on the rail for you guys during Rock on the Range the year you were there, and just loved the power when you guys came out. Can you reflect on the Rock on the Range experience a little?
We play, I think, twice on Rock on the Range, and it was always a really really great experience. Like the people was wild. I think I remember a lot of circle pits and people coming. I remember there were the security that couldn't hold the barriers anymore, so the police came in and reinforced the
I
security.
think that was the one I was at.
Yeah, it was the one with the stage right at the side of the big stadium. You know,
The Jägermeister stage, yeah.
And so the police had to came in, and I still have videos of that show, and it's amazing. One of the wildest show ever in terms of crowd surfing. And I remember there was like 3 or 4 different circle pits going on all over the place. So definitely one of the festivals I look forward to play again, hopefully next year or soon.
And then the other one I ask you about is the Shiprock experience, because a lot of Shiprockers listen to our show and they always love hearing you guys reflect back on it.
I think we always had a great time with all those bands. The cool thing about our band is that we can appeal to different kind of packages of bands. You know, we can play with a more rock-oriented band like the typical Shiprock, Five Finger Death Punch, or POD, or Papa Roach, as well as some more metal bands on some other events. You know, so it's cool to do that. But we had a great memories on Shiprock because we know a lot of the people also that organized, like Danny and all the guys. So we've been friends for many years. So it was cool to get back with them and do something together. And we really had a great time with all the people hanging out. There's the right vibe, the right attitude. So we for us it was a vacation basically. You know? I mean, remember, besides you have to play, but that show is a very secondary thing. It's more about the hanging out with the people, have a good time, and watch some other bands, talk to some other people you haven't seen in a while. You know, so I definitely recommend it if you want to have a different kind of experience and you have the right budget. I think it's a good way to do something unique for music fans especially.
Yeah, it's our favorite thing of the year to do.
Yeah.
That without a doubt. Well, hey, this has been Andre from Lacuna Coil, and the new album is called Delirium. It's out right now, and we're going to go see them tonight in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So, man, thanks a lot for taking the time.
Thank you guys for having me,
Yes,
and
thank
see
you.
you soon.